Would like to call to order the Trotwood-Madison City School District June 2nd, 2022 work session here at the Board of Education offices. Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes, Mrs. Jeter Freeman.
Here.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
Mrs. Cherry. Here. And Ms. Moore.
Here. The meeting has now been called to order. Will you please join us in a pledge of allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I now need a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
I'll move.
It's been properly moved and second. Are there any changes, additions, addendums? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Jeter Freeman.
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
And Ms. Moore.
Yes, the agenda has now been adopted. Okay, next up, we have presentations, Madam Superintendent. We have our retiree recognition.
Right, so we're going to have them come up front, and I would like for you all to come up as well to share.
Wonderful, thank you.
Okay, we have our HR Director, Ms. Jeter. I'm sorry, Ms. Jeter. Ms. Jeter, like, don't give me more work. She working here. And everyone does know this is Ms. Jordan Isaac.
Good evening, everyone. Testing, testing. Can you hear me? No. Can I get a live mic, please? Thank you. Testing. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. On behalf of the members of the Board of Education, the Superintendent of Schools, as well as the Treasurer CFO, I'm Ella Jordan Isaac, and I'm welcoming you to our retiree reception. At this moment, I'd like for you to give them all, please, just a round of applause for making it here. And so I've asked the members of the board and the superintendent to assist me by awarding our retirees, and so I'm going to start. I'm going to read their name, their bio, and then ask that they receive their award. Mr. Battle, Keith Battle, if you will please step forward. Mr. Battle has been a bus aide for Trotwood-Madison City Schools, serving our students for the past 10 years. Thank you for helping to keep the young lives of our students safe while transporting them from home to school and school to home each day. We appreciate you for your years of service and dedication to our students. Ms. Becky Boyer was not able to join us this evening. However, I would like to read her bio. Ms. Boyer has served the children of our district for 23 years as a physical education teacher, as well as a track and volleyball coach for several years. Her dedication to the physical as well as the intellectual health of our students over the years is greatly appreciated. Ms. Boyer, we thank you for your years of service to our students. Oh, Mr. Battle, I'm so sorry. You have to, because you got to have the surprise. You got to come up and stand, because we're going to take a big collective picture and bring that with you. You'll see why. Ms. Finley, Donna Finley, has been a dedicated staff member at Trotwood-Madison City Schools for 25 years. She's worked as an educational aide as well as clerical support in several of our buildings, including Townview, Madison Park, and most recently, Trotwood-Madison Middle School. In addition to supporting our students, she was supportive of our staff as a loyal member of the Trotwood-Madison Education Association, as well as her service on building leadership teams. Ms. Finley, you are appreciated, and we thank you for your many years of service to our staff and students. Ms. Fry, Sue Fry. Ms. Fry has helped to educate our elementary students in Trotwood for over 21 years, while also supporting the staff of the district for many years as a Trotwood-Madison Education Association representative. Your dedication to our staff, our students, and our collective body is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Ms. Fry, for your years of service to our organization. Ms. Gilliland, Deborah Gilliland, who is not with us this evening. I'll read her bio. Ms. Gilliland has served as a preschool and kindergarten paraprofessional with the children of our school district for 25 years. Her devotion to the youngest students in our district, making sure that they are acclimated to the school environment and providing experiences that are commendable and definitely appreciated. Thank you, Ms. Gilliland, for your years of service to our students. And Ms. Anderson, principal of the Early Learning Center, will be her proxy this evening. Ms. Tidd, Kimberly Tidd. Ms. Tidd has been a part of the Trotwood-Madison family for more than 20 years. Her wealth of historical district knowledge will certainly force the rest of us to recognize those contributions and the gap which you leave behind. She has worn several hats while working in the school buildings, from being a central office administrative assistant, as well as serving in the buildings in the absence of secretaries. You've carried many responsibilities over the years. Your dedication to our staff and stakeholders has certainly been a pleasure to witness and experience. Thank you, Ms. Tidd, for your years of service to our students and staff. At this time, I would like for our retirees to please open your boxes and look at your gifts. It's a little heavy, so I don't want you to be surprised. On behalf of the members of the Board of Education, the Superintendent of Schools, as well as our Treasurer CFO, we want you to know that you simply mean the world to Trotwood-Madison City Schools. Thank you for your years of service.
Let's just give all our retirees a huge standing round of applause. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And you know what? I think this calls for celebration. So why don't we take a 10-minute break and let's have food and cake and beverages and just fellowship. Thank you. We want to celebrate you. That was such a nice retiree recognition, Madam Superintendent. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Enjoy your retirement. I'm jealous. Okay, very.
I tell everyone, if you don't see me, I'm a twin. When you see him and I don't speak, it's him. We go back 68 years.
Wow, wow.
Am I right, Dennis?
Yeah.
Take care, brother.
Okay.
Next item up, board, is the board report, and I'd like to make a motion to accept the Trotwood-Madison City School District Memorandum of Understanding regarding the Juneteenth as a paid holiday in 2022. In consideration for the respective rights, obligations, and liability, and the sufficiency of which is hereby acknowledged, the Trotwood-Madison City School District Board of Education hereinafter, and the Trotwood-Madison Education Association, an affiliate of the OEA and NEA hereinafter, all of whom are referred jointly herein as the parties. The parties agree to the following. The June 19th, or Juneteenth holiday, will be celebrated by providing 11 and 12th month regular non-teaching bargaining unit employees with an additional paid holiday in 2022 pursuant to ORC 3319.087 as effective June 10th, 2022. The holiday will be celebrated on June 20th, 2022. All 11 and 12-month regular non-teaching bargaining unit employees who accrued earnings on the employee's next proceedings and next following scheduled workdays before and after June 20, 2022 were properly excused from absence at work or either or both of those days shall receive their regular day's pay at their regular hourly rate for that day as a paid holiday. And again, this is a memorandum of understanding, and it'll expire on June 30th, 2022. I need a second.
I'll second.
And properly moved in second. Questions? I do have a question. It's one day, correct?
Yes.
Okay, when I was reading it, it sounded like work on either or both of those days. In paragraph 2, the last sentence before the end, do you see that? All 11th and 12th month regular non-teaching bargaining unit, and then if you come down, it says employees who accrued earnings on the employee's next proceeding and next following scheduled work days before and after June 20th, 2022, or were properly excused from attendance at work on either or both of those days. What does that mean?
We had our attorney write this up, and the day that we will be doing, celebrating Juneteenth is on June 20th, that Monday. So it is that one day, and that's what this means.
Yeah,
As it says in
either or.
that first, it said the holiday will be celebrated on June 20th.
Okay.
Unless this was written in another year, if it falls like before on the Friday versus on, that Monday.
Let's do this,
Mhm.
okay? Because I want it really clear, because there are people who follow this, okay? It needs to really be very specific, not either or day, but June 20th. So we have a motion on the floor, and I want to make a motion to reconsider the motion. I need a second. A motion to reconsider the motion. I can withdraw. A motion to withdraw the motion?
Just withdraw the motion because we didn't have
Okay,
a, we
but
haven't
we,
voted on it yet, so.
okay.
And that's just my.
We had a motion, and we had a first and a second, though. So that's like an official motion on the floor. So the only way to override a motion is with another motion. Or we can call the roll.
I say.
Okay, let's do that then, if that's easier for you, okay? Okay, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Certainly will.
Hmm?
Ms. Moore,
No.
Mrs. Jeter Freeman,
No.
Mrs. Cherry?
No.
And Mr. Davis?
No.
Okay, motion fails. On the memorandum of understanding regarding the Juneteenth as a paid holiday. However, this item will come back before the board with clear explanation on the date for the Juneteenth paid holiday. Okay?
And that will come back on the business meeting.
Yes. Thank you.
And that's time obviously before June 20th.
Yes, okay. Or June 30th, yeah, because that's when it expires. That's what.
Well, the holiday is 20.
Oh, yeah, oh, so they're doing the holiday now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, yeah, okay. I'm thinking, isn't everybody out this summer? But anyway, never
No,
mind.
that's why it's those employees that are 11 and 12 months.
It's not many, it's just
Right.
12 months. We don't have any 11 months.
It's just the 12th, so let's get rid of the 11th month in the jargon
The
too.
reason why she put it in there is part of the law.
Is it?
It says 11 and or 12 months. That's
Okay.
why
Yes, and that's why.
Okay, okay. No.
We'll just get her to make us understand.
No worries, we'll just tighten it up, okay? Mhm. Okay. Treasurer's report.
I have one item for you this evening, just for information, for the approval of the minutes of May 5th, 2022, and May 19th, 2022. That's all I have this evening.
Okay. Thank you. Superintendent's report.
Okay, I don't have a lot today, so that's a good thing, I'm sure, with the weather being as nice as it is. A is approval of a donation to the ELC. The Early Learning Center has received a check in the amount of $886.10. The check is the commission check from the fall 21-22 photographs through Shutterfly. Ms. Anderson is asking for the board's approval to deposit it in the principal's fund. That's for information tonight. Okay, B is approval of the Evolve Safety System purchase. I'm requesting the Board of Education approval for the purchase and monthly contractual obligation for the Evolve Safety System for installation by fall of 2022. This modern weapon detection safety system will be installed at entry and exit points in those specific buildings to deter the possibility of weapons being brought into our schools. This purchase will be funded via ESSER grant funds and is not to exceed $325,000 for equipment, maintenance, and software fees. The district will purchase the system via Sourcewell Purchasing Consortium, and it is attached for your review and approval, the contract and informational materials that detail the system and its process and functioning. We've talked about this. This is that system that is the newer version of, what we used to have back in the olden days.
Oh, for the
Yeah, for the doors.
metal detectors.
Metal
and that sort of
detector,
thing.
so it's the upgraded metal detector.
Okay.
So that's for information,
Yeah.
and
I
for
have
votes
a
for next
question.
time.
Okay, I'm looking at the contract. You said not to exceed the 325, right? There's an annual service charge that goes along with this system of $84,000.
Now, what that is you have to have someone who monitors, or they have a software system that monitors what happens when people walk through the system. And as they walk through it, if someone comes in with something they shouldn't have, it will light up on the camera, on wherever you have it indicated to go. And so that's the software that we are speaking of. We are actually talking with them about bringing that potentially down a little, that price if
Yeah.
possible. And this is for us to have it at 2 entrances at the middle school and high school. We're talking about how we can work that system a little bit better. But Mr. Howard's been really on top of this, and we're hoping to get the approval, next week so we can make the order. So it will not, that's why he said not to exceed $325,000.
But the total currently is just 221. $815.90, correct?
The total currently, but you add the 85 to that.
But would you
Yeah.
order, oh, you
Mr.
added the
Howard
84
would.
for the annual?
No, not to exceed for the initial setup of the software system. The total is not to exceed 325. Through our negotiations process, we are working to try to bring that down. But our initial quote for what we would have at both entries and exits at the high school and middle school, that is the initial quote. If we continue to work with the company and try to bring that down based upon some other prohibitive factors, but it will not exceed 325 for what we have here. What we have set. I'll make myself clear. It could be lower, but it won't be any higher than
Okay.
than that.
I just want to make sure I'm clear because I'm looking at a contract and I just want to make sure that I know what I'm voting on tonight, so, or when we come back to vote on it. So the total installation charge is just $221
That
Yes.
is the equipment installation and training, yes.
and training,
Yes.
okay. And then the annual service charge is the $84,000, correct?
Right, the initial setup and annual service.
Okay,
But that's all the beginning phase.
okay, okay. And that's how you came up with that, but you're working to get a better
Especially
deal?
the service charge, we're working
Yeah.
definitely to try to get that down.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because if we have to go with that, then that would have to come out of general fund. However, there, for our grants to be kind of on the lookout, there are a lot of
Yes.
grants out there for safety. So this is when we would want to make sure that we are looking for grants for safety and applying for those to take us beyond the ESSER 2024.
And currently, we have submitted information for 3 safety grants at this point, right now. So our hope and our intention is that once ESSER is gone, we will fulfill that obligation with grant safety grant.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, we had a safety meeting today, and it was also brought up with our grant director there. as
Okay,
well.
thank you.
Okay,
Now, C is approval to purchase technology using our ESSER funds. I'm requesting approval for the following technology purchase from Dayton Cincinnati Technology for 22-23 school year. The purchases will be made via ESSER funds as we continue to provide our students with the best resources possible to close the achievement gap for learning and address learning loss during COVID-19 pandemic. The attached requests are as follows 900 Chromebooks through Dayton Cincinnati Technology to replace the Chromebooks for students K-6 that have reached the end of their life cycle. This purchase includes protective cases, Google licenses for each student device, and preparatory services for asset protection. B is 50 ViewSonic 86-inch view boards for teacher classrooms to be assigned by departments for use. These boards will be distributed to each building and used by classroom teachers to provide a more interactive learning experience for students. The total cost for these items is not to exceed $550,000. Competitive quotes were submitted for these items, with the DCTS being selected based upon product availability, customer service, and location for support services. And you can see those quotes are attached.
What do we do? So these, the current Chromebooks are out of this year or next year?
They're ending this year.
K-6.
K-6, they're life.
Okay.
Those are a 5-year lifestyle.
Okay,
So our K-6 group at this point, those Chromebooks.
okay. I don't know if you remember, when we got the Chromebooks before, one of the things that, because I'd asked for us to negotiate with that company, we got extra 50 Chromebooks, I think, when we got this set. So I don't know if we can do the same thing because, you know, there are other companies out there, and I know when they're partnering with other districts, I happen to have known at that time that they did do that. So I would like for us to at least approach them about that, to see if we're buying 900, how many can you throw in free? Last time we got 50, I don't know if it was, and it was probably from this company. It was 50 or 25, I can't
No,
remember.
it was 50. Last time they gave us 50 extra Chromebooks.
And what do we do with the old ones? Do we,
They're recycled.
okay,
They're recycled. We get a small amount of fee. After about 5 years, Chromebooks really no cost, just with depreciation. So they get recycled and we get a small amount of fee for that.
See if we can negotiate a minimum 50, but ask for 100. We're buying 900. And if we've used them before, this is the company we used before?
Yeah.
I think there's a partnership there.
I'm sure if anybody can do it, Mr. Howard can.
Mr. Howard, could you do that? Thank you, Mr. Howard. Okay.
All right, and now approval of the personnel agenda, and I will be asking for action tonight. As we talked about being the summer, we will need to take action at each meeting to hold on to our candidates. We have A1, a recommendation for the approval of the following certified resignations for the 21-22 school year. A2 is a recommendation for the following adjustments in pay for the following certified staff for the 22-23 school year. A3 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified new hires for the 22-23 school year. A4 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified end of limited contracts for the 21-22 school year. A5 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified staff to be used on an as-needed basis for the 21-22 summer school program. A6 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified one-year limited contracts for the 22-23 school year. A7 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified letters unit training for the 21-22 school year. A8 is a recommendation for the approval of the following certified continuing contracts for the 22-23 school year. B1, we're looking at the classified personnel agenda. B1 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified resignations for the 21-22 school year. B2 is a recommendation for the following adjustments in pay for the following classified staff for the 22-23 school year. B3 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified end of limited contracts for the 21-22 school year. B4 is a recommendation for the approval of the following classified letters unit training for the 21-22 school year. C1 is, we're looking at the administrative personnel agenda that was moved from last meeting to this one. C1 is a recommendation for the approval of the following two-year administrative contracts. C2 is a recommendation for the approval of the following one-year administrative contract. And that ends our personnel agenda. I'm asking for approval tonight.
Okay. Thank you. I need a motion to accept the approval of the personnel agenda, Superintendent Item 5D.
I'll move.
I'll second. It's been properly moved and second. Are there any questions? Being none, Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Judy Freeman.
Yes, abstain on A3.
Mrs. Cherry.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes. Superintendent, item D, approval of the personnel agenda.
Thank you.
Next items are item 6, discussion and follow-up items and updates. A is what summer school courses are being offered at the high school.
Okay, at the high school, right now, we currently have 44 students signed up for high school. They're continuing to encourage more students to participate. We're using Apex to do credit recovery for core courses, the core courses being science, math, English, and social studies. And then we're also doing end-of-course exam remediation. So they're using Apex and face-to-face prior to the test, which will take place on June 27th. That's what's happening at the high school this summer.
So we don't have like our summer school offering, and we are allowing students to sign up at will.
Students who have failed a course are encouraged to take credit recovery for their core courses, right? I know we are not mandating that they take these courses. They are asked to sign up.
Yeah, you know, and I've said this before, I've said this for years, before any of you probably been here, so. But some things, to make it, to move us, we have to make parents uncomfortable, and some things have to just be mandatory. If we're set ourselves as a district of high achievers, we want you to achieve. That requires you to come, you're failing. You have to come to Trotwood. If you want to come to Trotwood next year, you have to be here this summer to get ahead. My grandson was at the STEM school on Woodman. He was failing Chinese. He had to pay and take that during the summer. So when you look at why are some of those schools achieving and why we're not, that's why I say we have to review what we're doing, review our practices, and how do they do it and we don't. Let's consider that as maybe a potential reason that we're not. So that's all I have on that.
No, I completely agree. I think that because the district is a failing district, we really have to hunker down and start not making things optional. If you want to come here, and you are failing and you are behind, having a conference with a parent and student together, whatever that looks like, there has to be some sort of commitment to catch up, to pass. I believe, like Ms. Jeter Freeman said, and you've been saying this for years, Ms. Jeter Freeman, and we still kind of like, oh, it's optional. I would like this to be mandatory for any students that are failing. Not only if they can't come to summer school, Superintendent and I were discussing, and Superintendent, you shared this with the board, that there's another option possibly, like the Sylvan or the Wishes or the whatever tutoring organizations we can work with, because maybe everybody can't come to summer school for whatever. Virtual.
I think that I'm not sure, and we can speak with our attorney, but it may be something we could put in policy, and then we can back that up.
Right.
Otherwise, it ultimately is up to a parent whether or not they bring their child. And
Right.
so it would be then us saying that we are not going to enroll you. I would have to confirm that, but it feels like that's something that as a public school, you know, the principal and
Right.
myself, we're not in position to say that we won't take you back if you don't do this, but
And that
we can
was
talk
the
about-
conversation
Yeah.
before as a potential bottleneck and why we couldn't do it. But then we can see how do those schools that are public, how do they do it? Because if we look, a lot of our students that we lost on the Ed Choice went to those schools that have those requirements. I'm going to say the majority of those students that left to go to those schools that had those requirements in place that said, you must do this and you must do this, there were the majority of our in-the-middle students that we talk about during our DLT.
Right.
We don't want to lose those. We don't want to lose any more. So we've got to be actively researching what is our strategy for keeping our students here?
So we will definitely, I will research that and get with our attorney as well to see how we can mandate that.
Thank you.
And I'm on the policy committee along with Mr. Davis. Mr. Davis, we'll call Norm, we will put a policy in place if we can, based on legislation. Because, I mean, we'll put a policy in place tomorrow if we can. I mean, if it's legal, because we have got to make a change. If we keep doing exactly what we've always done, we're going to continue to get exactly what we've already gotten. And we want people to know, parents and students, we are serious about our, our vision statement? Mission
100%,
statement? Yeah,
student
100%
success.
student success. And it's like, okay, so what are you doing to get that? Okay, so we'll get on that ASAP. All right, thank you. I'll call Norm tomorrow. We'll see what we can set up for policy. Superintendent's checking with the attorney. Okay, B, how are we preparing academically for the upcoming school year? Whose item was that?
Mine.
Yes, ma'am.
How are we preparing? I'm just listening to the previous subject matter in regards to students that's failing, students in summer school, or only 44 students that signed up. That's at the high school. It's just students in middle school that are failing. They probably need to be in some sort of summer school classes or something like that. It's just not at the high school. It's the whole entire district. And what was in place prior to assist our students to push them academically. So how are we preparing academically for the upcoming school year for all the schools?
Gotcha. Okay, so we are doing a lot of preparation for the upcoming school year. Of course, you can imagine that is our job. That's what we all have a part in getting ready for next year. But I will focus on, and I have copies of this information to give to you guys. I'm not going to read it all, but I'll focus on the things that deal particularly specifically with academics. So as you know, we are doing our the high school, as we said, we're focusing on credit recovery and intervention for retesting and end of course test. We are doing summer testing for the high school, end of course exams in grade 3 ELA from June 27th to July 1st. K-8 summer school called Summer's Journey is being put on from Catapult Learning using a majority of our teaching staff. That will be Monday through Thursday. Fridays will be field trip day for the K-8 Summer Journey students. We will be holding a drone camp, which focuses on STEM-oriented learning activities. We will be having Camp Invention, which is a one-week hands-on camp for students in grades K through 6. I understand about 100 students have signed up for that. We will also be doing a Lego camp. Again, that's another one that's a one-week hands-on camp experience for our students. We will be doing ACT and SAT preparation through Next Level Prep to help our students be prepared for those exams. There are also a number of summer professional development sessions for our staff, and this is very important so that our staff is ready for next year. We'll have subject-specific vertical team planning and curricular mapping. We will be doing PD for Wonders, asynchronous professional development sections in the new K-5 ELA adoption, early access to Savas platform webinars for 4 through 8 science and 6 through 12 social studies adoptions. We will be holding a committee meeting to determine the best grading practices for the district. Letters Summer Cohort, Volume 2, Units 5 through 8, for which the teachers may also earn credit, graduate credit through WSU. Guiding Gifted Learners through MCESC are all part of the training for PD for our staff. Due to our status as an intensive support district, we will continue to work with the state support team over the summer to develop our one plan. And to sort of speak to what you have mentioned about our kids who leave, the Ram Nation Virtual Academy is doing a campaign to bring back our students who left the district for other options, such as private, charter, or virtual schools. Operations, of course, has a long list, which I'll share with you, that they're doing, but they are supporting our education by food service, supporting summer programming this year by providing both breakfast and lunch, and they will also have 3 open lunch sites for any students ages 2 through 18. Transportation will be transporting summer school students through the conclusion of the program. This also includes enrichment field trips on Friday of each week. Technology will continue the process of upgrading district servers and phone lines, and that's very important, you know, for keeping our education going. They will also be replacing security cameras, replacing outdated student and staff devices, and updating labs and reviewing cybersecurity measures. Human resources and principals, as well as some of my exec cabinet members, are in the process of trying to find staff to fill all of the open positions for next school year. As we found out this year, that is imperative for our students to be educated throughout the school year. If we have those open positions, then we can go all year and a student not have a regular teacher for a particular subject. So we are really working hard to make that happen. We're also working to retain the teachers that we do have. For HR, this involves posting positions, setting up interviews, and hiring the staff. They're also working to onboard new staff. There will be training on Upslope, which is our Educator Code of Conduct program. The athletic department, they do a lot in the summer, but what I think lands most in helping with the development of our athletes, they're taking our student athlete leadership team to the National Student Leadership Summit in Indianapolis, Indiana, from July 18th to the 20th. We'll have 10 student leaders who will be ambassadors that will lead that national conference. So we're all going to be all hands in, trying to, you know, get the buildings ready, the staff ready, and our students ready to come back and really get rocking when we get here. So we're excited about all the things we're doing in the summer.
Okay. Any other questions on summer?
No.
Okay, thank you. Item C, Taylor Fit Consulting follow-up.
Okay, we did make contact or attempt to make contact with Mr. Jacob Person. We're waiting to hear back from him, but he does know that we're interested in talking with him. What we do have, and I think I have been asked, do we have anything that was similar to that? You know, typically we have our Samaritan contract, and they provide our mental health services, and they have struggled to provide us with as much of that service as we need. So we have a contract with eTherapy, and eTherapy provides 24-hour services that we can use. It has been used. Our Ram Nation Virtual Academy students have used it, as well as the ELC has had some students who have taken part in eTherapy. So we are pursuing that, but we are going to speak to Mr. Person to see how what he's offering compares to what we have right now.
I don't remember an e-therapy. Where did that contract come from, and what do we pay for it, and how many students have actually used it, and how do we promote it?
Would you like to speak to that?
So we've had that contract since November of this past school year. So when we were, like I said, when Samaritan was struggling finding physical therapists for us in our school buildings, we had to come up with another option. And so eTherapy provides a virtual option for our families to use. And so at the time, during the school year, we were using it for our families who needed services who didn't have in-person therapy for. So it has not been broadcasted like open just for anybody to get therapy when they need it, but it is, you know, as a needed basis, like our current mental health therapists, they service our students who are in need.
Okay. Yeah,
And I don't have the numbers right on
Yeah.
it, but I can
Could you get the
Not
board,
names, actually, but numbers.
yeah, could you get the board the numbers, and can you send the contract over so the board can review it? Because I'm not talking about like specific, you said physical therapy, they do a lot of things, correct? Is
I'm
it
talking about
mental health?
This
Okay.
is for mental health.
This is for mental health.
Those are the supports that we needed at the time.
Okay.
They will provide e-therapy or speech and things like that, but we have those individuals.
Okay.
We weren't in need of.
Okay. And we,
We needed the
and-
mental health, social, emotional.
okay, and we haven't promoted it at all? I mean, it's just for a select group of students that come out of the Student Services Office, correct?
It's for each of the buildings, all of the social workers in each of the buildings, and the school counselors and the principals know that it's available. So-
And is it available, so it's available for families, not just the students, but for the adults? Yeah.
It will be therapy as well.
Okay, let's take a look at that, and we need to look at how we might want to restructure that, because after what happened in Uvalde, Texas, we need to make sure that anybody who needs this type of help gets it, not just specific students. Actually, I was looking at an article today, 70% of public schools report rise in students seeking mental health, and that's a study. I mean, we have got to get in front of this and not just, kind of keep it contained in a silo, but any student, any parent who may need these services, they need to be able to access it. And this is ESSER dollar stuff, okay? Because this falls under mental health
Right,
services.
we're doing that. I mean, I think you would be pleased. Like I said, our principals know if anybody shows up and there is a suspicion that they have mental health needs, SEL needs, we let them know. So it's not just for specific kids. It's not just for like our IEP kids. It's for,
Yeah. Well,
and it changes on a daily, weekly basis who has those needs. I mean, I do think, we could do more just in general advertising of mental health services, but they have posters in buildings. They do, our students know.
yeah, I just know that when we have low participation in anything, we have to look at how we promote it. And Trotwood has a lot of great things going on. We've got a lot of great services, we got programs, but we have a health center, but it doesn't matter if people don't know about it. Because again, if they don't know it's available, they're not gonna use it. I know that, the way that we promote things that really get parents involved, and even community involved, that's the way we need to promote things that we have going on in the schools. So, Madam Superintendent, I'm thinking that maybe what we have, and you'll send that information to the board, because I don't quite remember the E, okay? That way we can kind of look at it to see if there is a difference, Are they 24 hours a day? Are they 7 days a week? Are they 365 days? Or what does this contract look like? Because we want to make sure that there's access and availability. That's what I believe I can say on behalf of the board, and how we promote it, okay?
I have a question. Can this information be put out on Parent Square?
Yeah.
Yes, it
It could be put out on Parents.
Yeah. Parent Square, Marquee, the website.
Well, maybe
Or-
for the summer, a one call at some point, because the parents and students are out, and,
They
we
might not be
don't know
looking.
what kind of issues they might be dealing with.
Right.
So maybe an occasional, just reminder, one call as you're working through the summer, if you need help. E-therapy is available.
Yeah, things and times have significantly changed
Right.
recently, since the start of, COVID, and now things, like you said, like mass shootings and things of that nature. I know that we're all aware that in our community, traditionally, people don't talk about mental health issues. And so, to recommend to a family or something probably did not get the response that it will get now, because it is becoming more known that it can happen to anyone. I really appreciate that there are stories on the news, that there are opportunities for people to understand it's not just them, that this, what's going on now can trigger the need for services. But you're right, we do have a lot of great services here, and we will promote them in a different way than what we have traditionally done. So thank you for that feedback.
Okay, great. And we'll look forward to getting the contract and those numbers along the lines of how many students have actually accessed the contract that we have. What does that look like? And being able to look at the contract, we did it in November, so that was part of the ESSER dollars too,
Yes.
correct? Okay, we'll know what we're paying for it. So thank you. Next is tutoring with Sylvan and other organizations for students who are behind.
So as you know, we've contacted Sylvan, and we talked to them about what it would be, was like the best rate we could get, to get our students involved with them. Sylvan's process is that they do tend to do one-to-one work with their students, and, appointments are set up. And so what we were able to arrange is for the cost of $2,500 per student, and that's for 10 sessions, so sessions average $250 a day. Our students could have Sylvan tutoring. We have told that to all of our counselors, have shared that with all of our students who are failing, who could use Sylvan support. At this time, we have about 4 students who have taken up on this. And what Sylvan has told us is that, once you sign a student up, there are 10 sessions. If they miss them, you still pay the amount. So, we do have to share that with the families. When I talked with curriculum today and we were discussing this program and the way it works, is that it may be helpful if we could decide on how much money ultimately we are willing to pay for this service. So I had said, for example, if we said let's involve 100 students, that would be a cost of $250,000. Is that reasonable? If so, we could actively pursue those students, because we have students who fail several courses who are behind in, let's say, ELA and in math. And we have others who are only behind in one area and maybe not as far behind as some of the others. But if we are allowed to go up to that amount and offer it, we can offer it to some students who may not be, like making an F, but they're making a D, and they could do better with the support.
Here's how I really feel about that, because I've been talking about this until I was blue in the face for the last several years.
But we can't get the families to sign up.
I know, but here's how I feel. I don't care if they all want to go, the ones that are failing, because the investment is in the students. The students, I don't want to say 100 if we have 200 that are failing, okay? Or 400 or 500, I don't care what it costs. I mean, as long as we have this ESSER dollars, I want that money to go into student learning. I want the students to benefit and close those gaps, because that's why we're all here. And I've been wanting this for a very long time, even way before ESSER. And it's just additional supports. Summer slide, we all know there's summer slide. And I really feel that we should have aggressive campaigns to ensure that parents and students know that this is available. Because again, it goes right back to the former discussion. If they don't know, they're not gonna come. Any student that is failing, that D student, they don't want to be a D student, I'm sure. Maybe they just need a little extra help. 10 extra sessions might turn them into a B student or a high C student. Because at the end of the day, we want learning. I mean, we want our kids to learn. We want them to go out into the world and be able to be competitive. We don't want them to drop into a university and can't read, write, or do math. So whatever that looks like, I believe that this board is willing to make the investment into kids. We're serious about our students and we're serious about kids.
And we understand and we agree, and as I told you, all those things that we do have in place for our students overall is what's going to really be important, because next year they're going to come back to us, and if 10 sessions can make them come back a better
Yeah.
student, then I would agree with you
Okay.
that they should give it a shot. But another one of those things we cannot mandate. We can share and tell them
Yeah.
and
Well,
hope that they come on.
Yeah.
I have
But
a
I-
question.
Mhm.
No, go right ahead, I'm sorry.
Trotwood's been a failing district for quite some time. And the tutoring, is there a way that we can offer our staff to tutor our students, keep the money in Trotwood, and have the staff to tutor in a rotating fashion, build relationships, close gaps, with our staff right here? I mean, this is a lot of money, and I'm not knocking the program by no means, but if we can't get the children to attend the tutoring sessions there, why come we can't do it here? And like I said, build relationships and close gaps. Because every kid is not going to feel comfortable going somewhere and they are failing, they kind of be reserved or stand back or, something like that. Can we offer our teachers money to tutor our kids here?
Sure, yes, we can do that. I think that this year is a bit of an anomaly. People are literally exhausted, as you know, because we had a year that we do not intend to have next year, but they really were covering for each other. It was a lot going on. As you know, that's why we're doing Catapult instead of doing a more traditional summer school with their staff. But there are no better teachers when it comes to relationships and knowing our kids than the teachers that we have here. And I do think that that would make a significant improvement for our students. So we can start having that discussion with their teachers as they come back, hopefully rested and ready, because they want the kids to be prepared too. All of the teachers want to have students that are ready. And I think that that is a great idea, and we will look into that. For this summer, we will get out there and let everybody know if they want to participate in Sylvan, that it is an option, it's available for them. And then we will look into starting that tutoring once they come back.
One of the things I think, I mentioned was partnering with UD or Central State or someone where we have students that are good in math, their math, like a Miss Allen, where those students could come and they could provide tutoring. Well, I guess it wasn't such a bad idea because Ohio awarded $14 million in grants to accelerate K-12 learning. So they partnered with, UD was on here, and UD partnered with local schools, and that's exactly what they're doing. It says these school and district partnership with colleges and universities will positively impact students, complement classroom instruction, and enrich the practices for future teachers. So we missed that grant. I don't know if you all get the media release from the Ohio Department, but it tells you when grants are out there. There was another grant for the summer school, and when I was speaking to the director of that grant, asking about the 21st century, and she said that was a really easy one, but it closed last week, and you all didn't get that one. But this one would have been, this is exactly what we needed, because we're talking about having resources, and if Sylvan is charging us, so to make sure I understand, if we say we want 50 students, we have to pay them for 50 students, but 50 students might not show up.
No, the student has to sign up to be counted, but once they sign up, if the student commits to the 10 sessions, whether they come all 10 sessions or not, we still pay.
Yeah.
Now, let's say a student comes and does 5, we could always fill that seat for the next 5.
Okay, because the only obstacle there is partnering with them to say, can you provide resources at our location,
We've asked that.
and they can't.
And they've said no.
So that becomes, you know, we'll get some parents, but we won't get the numbers that
Well,
we
you
need.
know what, and, yeah, we probably won't, but here's the thing, we won't know until we actually promote it and actually invite people to come and take advantage of the opportunity. So I think it just starts there. And then even with those parents signing up, and Dr. Cosby, I'll throw this out, and we might want to talk to the attorney about this. The parent has to make a commitment for the 10 classes.
Right.
And I'm going to say this, and I don't know if we can make people do anything, but you know where I'm headed with this statement, right? You commit to 10 classes at $250 a class. If I was a parent and I commit to that, my kid's going to be there if I have to make up the difference if they miss a class. I mean, you know, we have to be very strategic at what we do. We don't want to just throw money away and have to pay for services not rendered, but be very strategic in how we do what we do. And even, you know, going in, it's 10 classes. And a parent says, well, gosh, the way my work schedule, I'm only going to be able to do 5, you know, up front, and then try to fill the other 5 somewhere else. I'm talking out loud because there's a way to do it where we're not wasting money. And I think that, and risking loss, you know, sessions. But I think that we have to, you know, really look at how we can do this and make it successful.
Right.
Yeah.
And I do want you to know, we do partner with UD, we partner with Learn to Earn, we partner with, Preschool Promise, and we are really out there and getting our students the whole Grow Your Own program. I actually know yesterday they had an open house down at Kiwi, and that's involving the people we're talking about, and Trotwood had the most students to attend. And what that is if they participate and work at an ELC, work at our ELC, even over the summer, then we will pay their college tuition for them to become teachers. And they don't even have to be ELC teachers. They just have to do that job, you know, over the summer. And of course, the hope is that they'll start it and they'll like it and they'll do it. And not only did we have the most students there, but we actually had 3 parents who attended that session. So we are working with Dr. Lasley, you know, from UD. We're aware of the things that are available for us, and we're going for a lot of grants. We had our grant meeting today. We have a lot of grants, we really do, and we're not going to let ones get by us if we can help that. And as we were saying, we have our eyes right now on trying to make sure we get as many safety grants to cover some of that money. We have that in our mind that in a couple of years, we're going to have to make some decisions. And the fewer decisions we have to make, the better. You know, if we can get the grant money to continue programs that hopefully we will know by then are working, that is our mind frame as well.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Item E is the 2 community town hall meetings about ESSER spending. Do you have a date? Do you have dates?
Yes, I have 2 dates. Thursday, the 9th of June, and I decided to do them at 5:30 because that, you know, people are used to us having our meetings and things at 5:30. So the virtual one would be Thursday, the 9th of June at 5:30, and then the in-person one would be Tuesday, the 14th of June at 5:30.
That be here?
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess here's my question about the virtual meeting. If it's like a town hall meeting, and like we did our ESSER group meeting, and when we've gotten to groups and people were able to speak and to share their ideas, because you're not the only one talking. When I think of a town hall, especially for ESSER dollars, we are soliciting community input on how we spend the dollars. So how does that work virtually? I mean, so that, you know, do you have a moderator or somebody? And
Right.
do
How it
people get
works.
to-
How it works virtually, at this point, we have already had to turn in our, you know, ideas for how we're going to spend that money. There is some still leeway in it, but overall, we've had to already allot that money. Janice, I don't know the technical terms of what we've done, but for the most part, and it's the things that you know what they are. It's what we're required to do. So it's not as much leeway in that as we would hope and as we would think. But the way it would work is that I will be on the monitor explaining the areas that we're spending our money in and what we, intend to do. We've done this before and it's worked very well. People put their questions in the chat and we respond to them, or they make their comments in the chat and we respond to them. Those things are recorded, and so we have that information there. I was thinking, as the way we've already been talking about some of the way we're spending this money, this is a good opportunity as well to tell them we're spending it on mental health services and we have this available. That we're spending it on closing the gap in education and we have Sylvan available. So it's an opportunity, again, to do that. So that's the type. We're not at the point where when we did our safety meeting and we all were in here doing that, to do that type of thing. We've been doing that throughout the year. And remember, that was predominantly staff. That wasn't really.
It wasn't community. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I've been talking with several other districts, and they've held like 3 in-person town hall meetings, because here, we could tell them where we are in person, but community folks, because they pay taxes and because these are their schools and their kids, they want to feel as if they are part of the decision-making on how we spend dollars. And even though we have things on the books, the board hasn't approved some of the big-ticket items, and we're still looking at how we're going to roll those out. And so, again, if we talk about goal number 6, I believe, in our strategic plan, it's community engagement. And again, I know for a fact that if we want to establish those relationships, we've got to bring them to the table. And at least hear what they have to say, and at least explore possibilities, because we all have great minds, our staff has great minds, but so does our community.
We've heard,
And they're their
remember
children.
One of the first things I did was do a community, a community town hall
Yeah.
meeting.
Yeah.
So so I don't understand what you're saying, because we do have 2 planned.
Yeah.
The virtual and the,
I think the virtual is more of an informational. That's not where, they can type in and you're telling them what we're doing. But I was thinking, and this is what I know other districts have done, bring them in and share, here's where we are, here's when we met with our staff, when we met with our board, even when you met with students. But we want to engage them in the conversation on how these dollars are spent, because there are some dollars that are out there. These are their kids.
so are you asking that we not do the virtual, that we
Maybe
do the in-person?
Well, you can still do the virtual if you like, but we definitely have to do the in-person to get them to.
So we have a date for the in-person and we have a date for virtual, because everyone doesn't, COVID is still real and a lot of people still do not want to come out,
Yeah,
in an open forum. So you have a date for virtual.
Right.
And maybe, and a date for in-person, and maybe we can schedule another date for in-person. But virtually, some people still will tap in virtually. So it's a good thing that we have that option for the vote.
Yeah,
Now,
we
maybe
can do
we
both.
can add another one, but it's a good thing that we have an option for both virtual and in-person.
Okay.
And we'll see how that goes, and if we feel like it was overwhelming success either way, maybe we will add another in-person for people that may have missed it. But then again, it is promote, promote, promote. We have to promote these. June 14th is coming up really soon. June 9th is just next week. We have to promote them. We can't wait till the 11th hour.
Well, I wanted to share the dates with you before I promoted them, but I'm on it
You
if
can
we're
always
in
send them
agreement
to
with
us
that.
too, That's fine too. Just the
Okay.
sooner the better. Okay, next up is treasurer's comments.
Yes. I have an finance wrap up on the last day of the month, which is June 30th. I looked last year and we did it on June 29th. So I'm asking, it usually only takes like 30 minutes, it's not a long meeting, but it's just a wrap up. It has the advances, the transfers, the appropriations on there, and then the certificate of estimated resources. So it really doesn't take a long time, but I need that meeting to wrap up everything.
We can look at some dates tonight if you'd like.
That's
Okay.
the only date, okay, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. What do you have, Miss Allen?
June 30th on Thursday.
June 30th.
Yeah.
Will you be here, Miss Freeman?
I think so.
And the reason why it has to be so late is because we are still trying to close out the year.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of information and a lot of details that need to be done before the 30th.
Okay, so
That
June,
gives us an opportunity to work.
so June 30th and 5:30? Board, are you good on that day? So anybody have a conflict?
I'm not sure at this time.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah, it's a Thursday. Okay. That's the last day of the month. Okay.
So
You gotta have it,
Yeah.
right?
Yes,
So you gotta have a quorum.
yes.
Okay. Thank you. Well, for now, we'll put it on the books for June 30th at 5:30. Superintendent comments?
As we all have been watching TV and we saw what happened at the elementary school in Texas, I just wanted to say, in the event that anybody happens to watch this, that we are in prayer for those families in that community. Also would like to congratulate our retirees. They really did a lot of great service to our district, and I'm happy for them that they're at this point in their lives, and I'm sure they're going to have a great time from here on out. I also wanted to let you know that we are going to be on a summer schedule starting Monday. We will be working the same hours Monday through Friday, but Fridays will be virtual. That means everybody is working, they are still intact and in touch, but instead of doing the 4/10s that had been done before and Fridays off, we decided to do all 5 days that we work the same hours with Fridays as a virtual day. So just wanted to make sure you were aware of that. Okay, and that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Board comments? Mr. Davis?
Well, just want to say thank you to the folks that were recognized today from the Transportation Department, our ELC, our middle school, and pretty much all our administrative assistants. I just appreciated your service and all this time that you've given to our children and to our city, and we can't replace that. I just thank you so much for all your time. That's it.
Thank you. Ms. Cherry?
yes, first I would like to congratulate the 2022 graduates, be it kindergarten or 8th grade and/or the high school seniors. Congratulations to the retirees as well. Those going to be hard shoes to fill, and but they've done their time, and I wish them well. I wanted to make mention about the middle school program I went to on May 23rd, the check-in, check-out program. I was really touched by the students who requested to continue working with the coaches. I thought that was phenomenal. They were recognized some of their shortfalls and wanted to continue to work, and that's awesome. That speaks volume to the students. So I wanted to say congratulations on that program. Also, I wanted to make mention about Miss Jordan Farley, the student who is the only child author during the Detroit Hustle and Grind Book Fair on June the 11th. Congratulations to her and her mom. and her family. Trotwood, we got a lot of work to do. It's doable. We got a lot of work to do, and I hope that we all work together collectively to move our district forward. We have work to do, but there are a lot of good things going on in Trotwood as well. And those are my comments.
Thank you. Ms. Jeter Freeman?
Congratulations to our graduates, as Ms. Cherry said, and a special congratulations to our retirees. I had the pleasure of knowing and working with Ms. Kim Tidd, Ms. Fry, and Mr. Battle was on the bus with my grandson and gave him special attention. So that culture of care, thank you so much for providing that to my children, my grandchildren, and also to me. I really personally thank you. And I will certainly miss you.
Thank you. Well, being last, you guys have already said everything pretty much.
Oh, I miss Miss Finley because our daughters actually played basketball together. They were the only girls team to go to state.
Okay.
So,
Anybody else, Ms. Jeter Freeman?
everybody.
Everybody. See, that's what I'm talking about. Okay. The only thing I want to say is all of what everybody else said, except for on Wednesday, the 8th, we have a board retreat. It's a board superintendent relationship retreat. It'll start at 5. It'll end at 9 p.m. Okay. We will have dinner. So just wanted everybody to put that, make sure that's on your calendar. In addition to that, 167 graduates, right? Right. That's good. That's good. And I say that's good because we have been getting reports all along. And to get to UD and have 167 graduates. Let's just give them another hand, okay? So, very impressive. Good work. Good work, Trotwood-Madison staff, supports, resources, administrators, and everybody who just made sure that it was where it was. So just thank you for that. I now need a motion to adjourn or to go into, and not adjourn, because that'd be great, okay? But we can't adjourn right now. I now need a motion to enter into executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, or demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, or investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee, official, licensee, or regulated individual per BOE Policy 0166 and ORC 121.22 G1.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Been properly moved in second, and that's item A. Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, motion passes. I also need a motion to go into executive session, item B, to prepare for, conduct, or review negotiations or bargaining sessions with the public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment per ORC 121.22 G4. No action will be taken. No, A, I only did A, so the motion was for A, so now this is for B. Need a motion?
I'll move.
It's been properly moved in second. Ms. Allen, will you please call the roll?
Mrs. Jeter Freeman.
Yes.
Mrs. Cherry.
Yes.
Mr. Davis.
Yes.
Ms. Moore.
Yes, motion passes. We will now enter into executive session for item A and B. Out of executive session at 9:13 PM. 9:14 PM, thank you. I now need a motion to adjourn.
I move.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Oh.
Thank you, Ms.